Sixers. Good Lord. So, prior to our, conversation about the Sixers and, Celtics entering this series, I know that, you're always been pretty hard on Embiid, and
Me?
I'll definitely
me?
give you your chance when the time comes. But like,
Yeah.
wow, all I can think about is, there's points in a player's career
Yeah.
that you just can't look away from after it happens.
Yeah.
Right. For me, it's like the 27-0, Chargers loss
Mm-hmm.
to the Jags. I'm like, I can't look away from that. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is.
Aaron Rodgers losing to the 49ers without them scoring a touchdown. That was like, oh, okay, this is a little embarrassing. James Harden and the Rockets missing 27 straight threes against the Golden State Warriors. I'm like, oof.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers blowing a 3-1 lead to the with the Clippers. And then Joel Embiid shooting 28% in Game 7.
Yeah.
Not getting the ball the last 5 minutes in Game 6. And then when the press conference comes around, he quotes Giannis with the "not every season's a failure." He says that me and James Harden need help. That to me, I'm like, wow. Okay. I always thought, I'm like, okay, well, he never made it out of the second round because he was running to the better team.
Yeah.
This time around, I mean, yes, the Celtics are maybe the better team, but it's up for debate at least.
Yeah.
And you know what's the difference between the Celtics and the Sixers? The Sixers stars both shot under 30%. Two players that you're paying a max contract to. One player who's an MVP, literally won the MVP this year, had the most dominant regular season for a big man in the last 20 years since Shaq, in the conversation for most dominant big man of the 2010s.
Yeah.
And then you do that. You scored. You shot 28% from the field. You had no aggression. You had no alpha whatsoever. James Harden's already painted himself as a playoff choker. That's already known. We already expected that from James Harden. But Joel Embiid, this is your moment. You go out. You beat the Celtics. You face the Heat. Anything can happen. You win that series. You're in the finals. Nothing can be taken away from you. But now, you know what you're painted as? A guy who can't make it out of the second round. Completely. That's going to be your reputation moving forward. And you've painted that for yourself because that's what you've been since you've entered the league.
And it's not for lack of help. This guy has had Jimmy Butler on his team as his co-star. He's now had James Harden. Jimmy Butler's been able to make it to the conference finals with the Heat, with the second best player being arguably Tyler Hero, which is wow.
Yes.
Props to Jimmy Butler, and he made it to an NBA Finals. And then Joel Embiid has the audacity to come out and say that, we need other players on the team to step up and get better, even though James and I have some stuff to work on ourselves. Like, keep James Harden's name out of your mouth. Keep his name out of your mouth because James Harden has been to the conference championship. He went up against the Golden State Warriors. He's been with them on Chris Paul, had a 3-2 lead on them. So he's actually pushed the team, carried it on his own, being the singular superstar in that team. You have two superstars where you can argue that Joel Embiid should be more dominant and better than Jason Tatum, and James Harden should be more dominant and better than Jaylen Brown. When you put Jaylen Brown side by side with James Harden should be better, but Jaylen Brown is just more consistent, I feel, where he's going to give you that solid 20. But James Harden, in a game where PJ Tucker clearly was out there trying to win, he gives you 3 early threes in this game. He's out there playing hard. Tobias Harris immediately comes out and ties the game 52-55 as your role player. And then you have Tyrese Maxey, who had played well in the series, but game 7, it's not about the role players, dude. If you're in game 7, like, oh, the role players need to give me more, what are you doing there? Because game 7, it's me versus Jason Tatum. It's James Harden versus Jaylen Brown. Everyone get on our back and get on for the ride. Because it got to the point with Joel Embiid, like, I get he's the MVP. He had 33 points. He was dominant in the regular season. What happens in the playoffs really shouldn't be held against you, but he was throwing shade at Nikola Jokic for his playoff performances when he's been to the conference finals, and he's going to be there again this year. And you're giving that guy shade? Really? And then you're now 0-3 in game 7s in your career. 0-3. when you have everyone rooting for you to win this year, everyone wants you to beat the Celtics. They're kind of giving him the Josh Allen treatment. Watching the Sixers this year kind of felt like watching the Bills. And then you just go head to head with the Celtics. Don't touch the ball in the last 5 minutes. You disappear on the defensive end. Like, that's the biggest part for me. Where, like, if you don't have it going on offense, you have the ability to be one of the most impactful defensive players, where I felt like I'll look at Jason Tatum. What's Jason Tatum doing? Stripping Embiid, getting offensive rebounds. Jason Tatum, when he wasn't scoring, was a monster on defense this series, getting blocks and offensive rebounds. Joel Embiid wasn't making the extra championship plays necessary to be made, and he just wasn't doing enough down the stretch. He would demand the ball, but he got locked down by Al Horford. I kept hearing that no one can guard Joel Embiid. There's nothing you can do with Joel Embiid. But Al Horford goes out there, and then when he was guarding Joel Embiid shot 3 for 15 on him in Game 7. That game in Philadelphia, when they lost by 1 point, Al Horford was giving Joel Embiid work. He had kept blocking him in that series, and then he was giving him the business in Game 3. So it's like, and historically in the playoffs, Al Horford has always been able to lock down Joel Embiid. So don't give me this nobody can guard Joel Embiid, because as soon as Joe Mazzulla, after getting criticized, maybe rightfully so, maybe not, for not calling the timeout, what's he do? Puts Robert Williams in the starting lineup. Now when Joel Embiid gets doubled, it's either Horford and Williams or Tatum Williams, two of those three on him. And then as soon as he got doubled, it's not like Jokic and it's not like LeBron where he's able to find the open shooter in the situation. It's just not. And the fact that he disappeared in Game 7 when Jason Tatum gave you 50 and you beat them in Game 5, you had a Game 6 that was winnable at home and you didn't touch the ball. And then versus the Hawks, you turned the ball over 4 times in that game. And then you lost to Trae Young in 6. And then you lost the Kawhi series, where that was a lucky shot. I don't give him too much grief for the Toronto one, but this Hawks loss and now the Celtics loss this year, where you definitely should have been at home and won Game 6. It's just like, don't talk to me about James Harden when you should have closed it out at home in Game 6. And don't talk about the role players. This is worse than LeBron when he said we're top heavy as fuck. With the Cleveland after that New Orleans game, like LeBron, like, we're top heavy. Joel Embiid legit said, like, yeah, I didn't have enough help when I shot 5 for 18. Like, no, seriously,
it was terrible. Plus, also, let's also add context to this, because James Harden, he's well past his prime at this point. Let's be honest. He's got wear and tear, 100%. Yeah. But what did we see in the series for James Harden? He had 2 great games, which is what you expect from him.
Yeah.
Game 1, he had 45.
Yeah.
And then I believe in Game 4, he had another 40-point game. So
yeah,
James Harden showed up for as much as you can expect him to. He's inconsistent at this point in his career. He's not going to give you what he did in 2017, and that's fine. He's been playing since 2009. I can't give him too much shit for it. But Joel Embiid, you're in your prime, bro.
Yeah.
You're in your prime right now. You're getting compared to the Joker. You're getting compared to Giannis. You're getting compared to
Hakeem.
You're getting Hakeem and Shaq comp. Like, you got to be that guy.
Yeah.
All of these guys, what do they all have? They have the championship pedigree. Joker, not quite yet, but maybe this year he proves himself. But you're being compared with the best big men of all time. And what do? Choke.
Yeah.
Like you've done your entire postseason career. And it's embarrassing. And it's like, I like Joel Embiid a lot. He's a great personality. He's great for the league. All these things about him. But at the same time, when it comes time to have your moment, have your moment.
Yeah.
You can't be shooting 5 of 18, and you can't be blaming your role players. You know what your role players did? They actually made a bucket. You scored 15 points. You got outscored by Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey. And then Harden. Harden had 9 points. That's not going to get it done. You guys combined for 25 points. Jaylen Brown had more points than you.
24. Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
But it's like you got outscored by one of the players. Not even the guy who scored 50. Like, it was embarrassing for me. And the Sixers, they're always going to be painted as the pretenders.
Yeah.
For me. And they always kind of have been. But this solidifies it for them.
Yeah, and before the series